Is it really possible to be in the now here all the time? Most of my time seems to go in planning for or worrying about the future.
Whether you know it or not, you cannot be anywhere else than here and now. Wherever you are, it will be here and now. You are given only one moment at a time. And you are wasting that moment for planning or worrying about the future. And the future never comes. What comes is always here now. It is a series of nows. One now, another now. But you are always living in the now. There is no future. And what can you worry about the future? It is because of this kind of worrying and planning for future that a certain proverb exists in all the languages of the world. That man goes on desiring, planning, worrying for the future, and God goes on disappointing him. There is no God to disappoint you. In your very planning, you are sowing the seeds of disappointment. In your very worrying about the future, you are wasting the present, and slowly it becomes your second nature to worry about the future. So when the future will come, it will come as present. And because of your habit of worrying about the future, you will waste that moment also for worrying. You will go on worrying your whole life about the future. You will stop only when death comes and takes away all possibilities of future from you. You missed your whole life. You could have lived, but you only planned. Live as intensely and totally now, because the next moment will be born out of this moment. And if you have lived it totally and joyously, you can be absolutely certain that the next moment will bring more blessings, more joy. I have heard on a railway station 3 professors of philosophy were discussing. The train was standing on the platform. It was few minutes more for it to leave. But they got so involved in their discussion that when the train left, then they became aware and they ran. In the last compartment, only 2 professors could enter. The third remained on the platform and the train was gone. And the third has tears in his eyes. A porter was standing seeing the scene. He said, "Why you are crying? At least 2 of your friends have got the train." He said, "That is the problem. They had come to see me off." They must be also crying inside the train. Existence also plays sometimes jokes on people. Nitin, stop this habit of planning. Stop worrying about the future. If tomorrow comes, you will be there. And if you know how to live, if you know how to live joyously and dancingly, your tomorrow will also be full of dance and joy. It is the miserable man who plans for future because his present is so miserable that he wants to avoid it. He does not want to see it. He thinks about tomorrow's good days are going to come. He is utterly impotent to transform this moment into a good moment. And a long habit of transferring always for the future, postponing living for the future, will take away your whole life from your hands. There is no other way. You are asking, is it really possible to be in the here now all the time? This is the only possibility. You cannot be anywhere else. You try. Try to be in the tomorrow. Nobody has succeeded up to now. You cannot be in the coming minute do you think you can jump and reach into the future? Jump out of today and reach into tomorrow? Even if you are planning for tomorrow, that too is being done here now. Even if you are worrying for future, that too is being done here now. You cannot be anywhere else. Whatever you do, existence allows only this space. Of here and now. And I can say to you that I am living here and now. I have also tried somehow to get into the future, but there is no way. You cannot go back into the past. You cannot go ahead of time into the future. In your hands, it is always the present. In fact, present is the only time you have. And now, is such a meaningful word, because that is your whole life. And now is stretched from your birth to your death, but it is always now. And here is the only space. You cannot be anywhere else than here. Wherever you are, that place will become here. Just be clear about it. Otherwise, life goes on slipping from your hands like water. Soon you will have empty hands, and meeting death with empty hands is an utter failure. Meet your death with full of joy, silence and serenity. Meet death with your hands full of ecstasy. And in that ecstasy, death itself dies. You never die. Your here now continues forever and forever.
Remember, frustration is out of expectation, and ego is always expecting. The ego is a beggar. I have heard a beautiful Sufi story a beggar came to an emperor, and the beggar said, if you are going to give me anything, there is a condition. The emperor had seen many beggars, but beggars with conditions, and this beggar was really strange, a very powerful man. He was a Sufi mystic. He had a charm, a charisma. His personality had an aura. Even the emperor felt a little jealous. And condition? The emperor says, what do you mean? What do you mean by your condition? The beggar said, this is my condition. I accept only if you can fill my begging bowl absolutely. It was a small begging bowl. The king said, what do you think I am? Am I a beggar? I cannot fill this dirty small begging bowl. The beggar said, it is better to tell you before, because later you can get into trouble. If you think you can fill. The king called his wazir and told him to fill it with precious stones, with diamonds and rubies, emeralds. Let this beggar know with whom he is talking. But then there was difficulty. The bowl was filled, but the king was surprised. As the stone will fall into it, it will disappear. It was filled many times, and each time it was again empty. Now he was in a great rage. But he told the wazir that even if my whole kingdom goes, if all my treasures are emptied, let them be. But I cannot allow this beggar to defeat me. This is too much. And all the treasures, it is said, disappeared. And by the king became a beggar. It took months. And the beggar was there, and the king was there, and the whole capital was there. And everybody was wondering what is going to happen and what will happen in the end. Everything was simply disappearing. Finally, the king had to fall into the feet of the beggar, and he said, forgive me, but before you leave, just tell me one thing. What is the secret of this begging bowl? All has disappeared in it. The beggar started laughing. He said, it is made by human ego. This begging bowl I have made of a human ego. Everything disappears in it. Nothing ever fulfills it. It is a tremendously beautiful story. That's what is happening to you. It is not a story. It is your life. You go on putting in your begging bowl houses, cars, bank balances, everything disappears. Again you are empty. Never any satisfaction, never any contentment. Again you are begging. You have been doing it for many lives. It is your story. It is literally true. It is not just symbolically true. It is a truth in everybody's life, in every man's life. We remain a beggar. The begging bowl remains empty. It seems it has no bottom to it. You drop anything, it simply disappears. The ego is never fulfilled. So the egoist is a person who is very unselfish. Remember this paradox. The egoist is a person who is very unselfish because he is never fulfilled. The non-egoist is a person who is very selfish because he is fulfilled. He attains to bliss.